All right.
Do you want tea?
Yes, please.
Do you want to bring it?
Sorry, 2 seconds, the internet.
Oh, sorry.
Yes, please, I would like tea. Thank you. Hi, everyone. Sorry, Tom has just finished his D&D and Dungeons and Dragons. That's how cool a family we are. Sorry, I've just sneezed and I'm all snuffly now, like a gross little witch. Let's put some light on. That makes it look a bit better, doesn't it? How are you all doing? Oh, sorry, this is the least professional start. I mean, even by my standards of this being a fairly big nonsense. I need to finish the tea I've already got before he realizes I've got one and knows that I made myself one while he was hang on. Or if he knows I've got one, he's going to be annoyed that I made one and didn't make him one because he's just come straight in and asked me if I want one. There's a lot of tea to try and get down though. There we go. Okay, now I just need the mug to cool down before he comes in here. Hi everyone. What a start. Thanks. This is it's a relatively new mug. It is big though, isn't it? When you look at it compared to my face, actually. I don't normally have this one in the evenings. It's my morning and the afternoon mug. But I got it in Manchester when I was there last year, so it's one of those one of a kind ones. I'm really pernickety about pottery. I like all my mugs matching, and then I have my own one and Tom has his own one. So hi everyone. How's it all going? It was cold somewhere. I'm glad someone found my email address. Somebody, yes, was Chris, wasn't it, tweeted me earlier, and I'm sorry, my tweets have all got away with me a little bit. Edward's finally finished the last final of the semester. Well done. 3 more courses and you graduate. How exciting. What are you studying? What's the subject? Glad you could finally catch a live episode. Us too. Someone saying, hi, Ivy. I can't quite see where an Ivy is, but I'll assume there's a new person called Ivy. Hello, everyone. Oh dear, there's a small burp. Sorry about that. Right. I was so ready. I've been so productive today. I wrote the chapter for this and I had to do some writing on something else, the thing that I can't tell you about yet, but might be Friday, might be Monday, not sure. And I've done all sorts of things. And then I've got a podcast launching. I think it goes live next week. I think it's the 13th of May. The first episode goes out. So I've been listening back to the episodes of that. And I was thinking like, yeah, I've got this. 10 o'clock comes in. Tom comes in. It's thrown everything. Ivy is a rabbit. That's who we're talking to. All right. Okay. And a master's in library science. I don't quite know what that means. The Dewey Decimal System? Is that library science? Don't know. Anyway, well done for getting completed with it. Anyway, what's the title of the podcast? Says Edward. It is the National Treasures podcast. I think all the Twitter and Instagram stuff is at Treasures Pod. So for those that I was chatting with in the comments and saying I should read audiobooks, I'm working on it. But if you do want more of my voice, is me and another comic called Will Duggan, who I just find Will so funny. And at the beginning of the year, we thought we'd set up this podcast called the National Treasures Podcast, and the idea was we go out for the day and we record a podcast while we're out for the day, that was the general plan. It's been obviously a lot harder to go out for the day over the last few months, but we did get 7 episodes out, recorded out and about properly, and then we've done a couple of other lockdown ones. So fingers crossed people like it. I think it's really fun. It's like a nice sort of nerdy mix of history facts and people chatting, and like it's 2 friends out for the day and you get to listen to it as we walk around. And the idea of the podcast was we record it while we're there. We don't go out for the day and then come home and do a chat about it. We tend to like record while we're out and about. So I'm sorry a few people are having trouble with the buffering. I don't know if it's me. I should be all right. There's nothing between me and my internet. And if Tom's watching videos, I'll scream at him. But we'll get on with the chapter, shall we? It's quite exciting. I think today's chapter's all right. Where's my book gone? I've got my other. Oh, I really want to tell you about the other thing I've been doing, but I can't. It's really annoying. But I did see some more exciting stuff relating to it today, so I'm looking forward to doing that, and it'll all be worth it when I can tell you about it. But yeah, the podcast is definitely out next week, so that's a definite. Right, let's go for chapter 18, shall we? So at the end of the last chapter, we had. Sorry, let me put my phone on silent. That's annoying me. We had. What did we have? She got the text message. Bum, bum, bum. Okay, so Emma burst into the shop, aware that she was late, but hoping that Fiona would be so excited about the text message that she'd forgive her. It briefly occurred to Emma that perhaps she should also have brought Fiona some hangover soaking fodder in case she felt as fermented on the inside as Emma did. It was too late for that now, though, so enthusiasm was going to have to be enough. The bell jangled, and Emma hastily looked around the shop for Fiona. She wasn't on the shop floor, but there were a few customers browsing the far shelves over in the corner. Emma dumped her bag behind the counter and decided to get very productive and busy so that when Fiona reappeared, she would be extremely impressed with Emma's work ethic. Although they had fallen easily back into their friendly ways, the aftermath of Fiona's fury last week had left Emma keen not to upset her again. She faffed with bits of paper and even went so far as to go and ask the customers if they needed help browsing. She found this particularly annoying because the answer was almost always no. It was a Christmas shop where people were choosing decorations and trinkets to match their own personal taste and existing possessions. How on earth was Emma supposed to be better at choosing what to buy than they were? She swallowed her reservations, though, determined to be better than her hangover was prompting her to be. The couple looking at tinsel were perfectly content without her opinions on glittery garlands, but the woman at the artificial trees was delighted to be offered help. I'm looking for something over 8 feet if you have anything. These don't have heights on them. The woman was pretty, maybe nearing 50, Emma guessed. She had a clear voice and a tone that suggested childhood full of horses. I'll grab a tape measure, said Emma, and made her way back over to the counter to search out a measuring device. She could hear her phone vibrating in her bag, and her stomach did a flip as she briefly imagined it being Theo calling to see why she hadn't replied yet. She swallowed the flipping down, just in case it was McMuffin and not Lust. Ignore it, she told herself. If Fiona comes upstairs now and sees you on your phone, she'll be furious. Emma also thought that the woman with the nice voice and the fancy jacket, that she would call a body warmer, but the woman definitely would call a gilet, wouldn't be very impressed by a shop assistant stopping serving her to take a phone call. Thanks, babe. He didn't notice. Emma decided the woman was definitely the sort to demand a manager. He did notice me whispering. He didn't notice, though. I fucked it. Oh, no. I've got more tea. She grabbed the tape measure out of the drawer and went back to measure the trees with the woman. Nothing they had on display was close to the height she wanted. Was close to the height the woman, whose name turned out to be Helen, wanted for her reception room tree. There were myriad thoughts swirling round Emma's head. Firstly, where the hell was Fiona? The shop telephone had rung. Oh, that says rung. It should be rung. Oh, I like that devil emoji. That's fun, isn't it? There were myriad thoughts swirling round Emma's head. Firstly, where the hell was Fiona? The shop telephone had rung 3 times while she was serving Helen, and she'd not had the guts to go and answer it in case Helen got shirty. Secondly, who had the planning capabilities to be choosing their Christmas tree in May? Thirdly, how many trees did this woman have that her reception room tree was a whole tree and not just her Christmas tree? Fourthly, how big were her other trees if even the reception room tree was to be over 8 feet? Fifthly, what was a reception room? Did this woman have a reception for her house, or was this some kind of massive office? And sixthly, where the shitting hell was Fiona? Emma applied the Etch-a-Sketch approach to clearing the thoughts from her head and focused back on the woman in front of her. She was nice-seeming, but one of those people with an edge, the sort of woman that could turn to furious in a millisecond if she thought Emma was being less than efficient. Let me check our catalogue and see what we could order in for you, said Emma, and headed back over to pull the big black folder out from under the till. She could hear her phone buzzing urgently against the inside of her bag, and as she ducked out of sight, she loosened the top of her bag to check the screen. There was an incoming call from Fiona. Emma had the sudden vision of Fiona lying at the bottom of the stairs in the stockroom with a broken leg, trying desperately to get hold of Emma for emergency help. Emma squatted down and answered the call in a hushed voice. Fiona, where are you? Emma! Oh, thank God! Are you in the shop? Fiona sounded scared and whispery. Yes, where are you? Emma peered around, expecting to spot Fiona hiding on one of the shelves amongst tree decorations and ornaments. Has she gone? Hissed Fiona. Who? Emma was perplexed. What the hell was going on? Helen! Fiona's voice was a bizarre whispered shriek, strangled and breaking. Helen? Oh! No, I'm helping her choose a Christmas tree. Why? Who is she? Don't you recognise her? That's Norman's wife, said Fiona, almost hysterical. Emma risked a look up at Helen and smacked her head into the side of the shelf before she could get a decent look. She ducked back down as she saw Helen turning to look at the clanging sound of her skull hitting wood. I'm hiding in the stockroom. I panicked when I saw her coming into the shop and I just ran away. Is she looking for me? Emma tried to think clearly. If Helen was here for Fiona, then she was doing a marvellously convincing job of tree shopping to bide her time. On the other hand, weren't posh rich people all basically meant to be psychopaths? So would she even find it that hard to play it all cool in front of Emma? I don't think she is, said Emma. She seems to genuinely want a Christmas tree. But no one ever buys trees in May. Fiona was alarmed. Emma agreed. Yeah, but she hasn't asked me about you. And if she knew you were here, wouldn't she have just asked to see my manager? Excuse me. Helen's voice came loudly from the other side of the till. Emma froze. I've got to go, she whispered to Fiona, and then stood up, managing to avoid a repeat blow to the head. Sorry, she said to Helen. Took me a while to find the folder. Emma was sweating, and it felt like her skin was having to work doubly hard to sweat, given that any fluid in her body was white wine residue. She hoped she didn't smell. Emma flicked the brochure along to the section containing the artificial trees and slid it over to Helen. She tried to subtly observe Helen looking at the options. Or a little bit thirsty, but my tea is too hot. Are the Christmas decks all the Christmas decks are going up. May 17th is New Christmas. Oh, maybe we should do a fake Christmas. This one looks good, said Helen after a minute of comparing. What do you think? She pushed the brochure across the counter to Emma. Emma had no idea what to say. She felt like it wasn't the right thing for a shop assistant at a Christmas shop to say she privately thought that most Christmas trees looked largely the same, and it all depended on the decorations you put on them. Emma was a fan of the piling as many shiny things as you could find so that your tree can barely be seen and you look like you just had a pyramid of glitter in the corner approach. Concentrate, she screamed at herself, snapping her attention back to the book and the tree being indicated by a perfectly manicured nail. I love it, said Emma. An absolutely perfect reception room tree. Helen looked up at her, possibly checking to see if she could detect sarcasm, but the earnest look on Emma's face seemed to convince her she was being taken seriously. Great. How long will that take to come in? Helen asked. I'll have to place the order and then I can let you know. It's usually within 2 weeks. If you could fill in your contact details here, then I can let you know when we have a delivery date. Emma passed her the contacts book, and Helen wrote down her full name and a phone number in a neat, educated-looking handwriting. Thanks for your help, said Helen, smiled tightly at Emma, and then swept out of the shop, leaving just a trail of expensive scent in her wake. Emma's entire body seemed to sag with relief. She felt the hangover sweeping back across her shoulders and knees. Why do my hangovers always aim for my knees? She asked herself, and then dashed across to the staff door to give Fiona the all clear. Fiona's pale face appeared from around the door. Are you sure she's not coming back? She said nervously to Emma. Not as far as I know. She's ordered a tree, and I've got to give her a call when we have a date for it to come in, Emma said, half hoping Fiona would be impressed with her for selling such an expensive tree. You took an order from her? Fiona's shout made every head in the shop turn and look at her. Emma flushed furiously on Fiona's behalf. Should I not have? Emma was confused. How could I not have? I don't know. I don't know. That's the accent, isn't it? Um, Sorry, I'm just chatting what you were talking about. Nothing wrong with Christmas. Who's out? Oh no, does love Christmas. I love Christmas so much. I get excited about Christmas around September. Uh, and as soon as the Edinburgh Festival's over, I get excited about. So there's no Edinburgh Festival this year. So yeah, we can just do Christmas now. Um, should I not have? Emma was confused. How could I not have? I don't know, said a flustered, panicking Fiona. But now she's going to come back, isn't she? Well, that's okay. We'll just have to make sure I'm here. Emma liked being the one with the answers. Don't worry. And anyway, you've ended things with Norman, haven't you? So it's not even like you're doing anything wrong anymore, is it? Fiona's guilty face said everything Emma needed to know. You haven't ended it! Emma exploded at her, and a couple of their browsing customers made their way out of the shop, clearly feeling awkward. Emma thought this was terrifically odd. She'd have stayed longer if this was happening in a shop she was in. Some people were so weird. Fiona shifted her weight and flumped her shoulders from side to side like a teenager, squirming under Emma's glare. What about Simon? Emma ladled on the guilt. I am going to end it, Fiona complained. I really am. I just haven't seen him, and I don't know how to do it over the phone. The word phone made Emma suddenly remember her text message from Theo, and she gasped. Actually gasped. What? Said Fiona, ducking behind the counter. Is she back? Who? Oh, I don't know. You're the one facing the door. Get it together, Fiona. Why did you gasp? Said Fiona, standing back up again and smiling at a customer waiting to pay for some icicles. I got a text from Theo, said Emma, after the customer had taken what felt like an insane amount of time to get their change and disappear from the counter. What, now? Squeaked Fiona. Emma thought they were probably going to run the shop out of business if they didn't cool it on the dramatics soon. No, this morning when I was having breakfast. Emma gracefully sidestepped the mention of the greaseball McDonald's. What did it say? Emma showed Fiona the message, and they both agreed that it was a good message, and more than made up for the fact that he'd made her wait for a full week. That day was surprisingly busy in the shop, and Emma and Fiona alternated serving and tidying with drafting text messages to send back. Emma was determined to wait at least a full day, but her thumbs were twitching to reply. At 4 p.m., the bell over the door tinkled, and Emma looked up to see Anya gliding through. Emma's heart constricted, and she felt a sprinkling of heat over her cheeks. Stop it, she told herself sternly. You like her. This is so weird. She painted a huge, sweeping smile across her face and crossed the shop to give Anya a hug. Ugh, right. Okay. Now, Anya. And I felt like I'd be shortchanging you if she didn't say at least one thing in this. Okay. As she crossed the shop to give Anya a hug. How are you? Said Anya. You two look excited. Emma and Fiona explained to Anya all the antics of the morning in the shop. They swapped in and out of the narrative, Emma correcting Fiona on the details of Helen's visit, and Fiona reminding Emma of all the different versions of the text replies they had concocted. Anya shook her head and laughed at the pair of them. All I can see in the corner is the comments going, funk, 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 as you lot enjoy this stupid accent. You knobheads. Gosh, you two really go a little stir crazy cooped up in here all day, don't you? Emma and Fiona joined in her laugh. They must seem like two children excited to talk to Mummy after a day at school. I'm on my way to the restaurant, but I thought I should pop in and apologize. Where did she learn English? It's like she learned each word of English in a different country. What is this accent? I'm on my way to the restaurant, but I thought I should pop in and apologize again for ruining dinner last night. Nothing to apologize for at all, said Emma honestly, except your accent. I liked my Chinese. Your neighbour was very nice, said Anya. Jack's so lovely, chimed in Fiona. Yeah, Emma reinforced herself. He's lovely, isn't he? She braced herself for Anya to ask for Jack's number. You and Theo should come to my place for dinner to make up for the burned lamb. was I don't even know. I can't even recall what Swedish is meant to be at this point. Uh, you and Theo should come to my place. No, I'm from Sweden. You and Theo should come to my place for dinner to make up for the burned lamb. No, was all Anya did say, though. And Emma felt her brain struggle to keep up with the about turn of subjects. Yeah, maybe we will do. I've got my laptop on my lap and I'm very aware that I'm laughing and it's wobbling it. I'm very sorry. Yeah, yeah, maybe we will do. Gosh, do you think a whole dinner is a bit much for a first meeting? Her tongue wanted to say date, but her mind wouldn't let her get ahead of herself and call it a date. You could always just have a starter if you're worried, joked Fiona. I like Anya too, but it's sort of telling myself, like, do I write this without thinking about the fact that I'm going to have to read it in this stupid, stupid voice, which is quite a challenge to have a character that's there and fun and nice, but not saying anything. But then I'm also very aware that she can't really say anything integral to the plot because I can't narrate it properly. She's very stupid. I blame Kim entirely for this whole turn of events. Emma turned sentence after sentence over in her mind to see which felt best as a reply. To force herself to wait, she set an alarm on her phone to go off at 8:19 p.m. on Wednesday, which was the day she had allowed herself to reply. She figured 8:19 p.m. seemed a casual time of day where it was believable someone might be sending text messages, and she felt like 2, almost 3 really if you thought about it, full days to wait was decent given that he had waited a week. She drafted the text in her mind and in actual draft messages with every spare second she had through Monday and Tuesday. By Wednesday morning, she was settled, and she proudly sent the draft version to Anya and Fiona for feedback. Fiona thought it was wonderful, but she'd been out with Simon the night before, so everything was wonderful to her. Anya felt like Emma should give a stronger opinion on what she might like to do when they went out, but Emma didn't want to seem pushy and was also worried she couldn't think of anything cool enough to do that would impress Theo. I don't know anywhere in Bath except your place, she moaned to Anya on the phone at 7:34 p.m. on Wednesday, just 45 minutes away from launch time. Anya had managed to convey a shrug over the phone, which Emma thought might be the most European thing she'd ever heard. The clock crawled around to 8:19 p.m. and Emma pressed go on her opus. Hiya! Lovely to hear back from you. Hope you're having a nice week. Yeah, mad to find ourselves both in Bath. A catch-up seems fun. Let me know what you fancy doing. I'm free most evenings. EX. The message disappeared off into the grid and Emma sat back into the sofa to wait again. There you go, chapter 18. Boop, boop, ba-doo. What's Georgina saying? I think at some point we're going to find out that Anya isn't Swedish at all, but a spy with a French resistance trying to put on a Swedish accent. Oh, yeah, like an episode of Hello, Hello. So there you go. There's your chapter, which I read to Tom this afternoon. And he just looked at me and he was like, this... what did he say? I just have to check. And I think this was off the back of... oh no, stop doing that, computer. Off the back of me saying that yesterday was all about like my own experiences of being drunk. He was like, I just have to check with you though. This text message malarkey, you don't actually plan how long you're going to take to reply and stuff like that and like plan it for a certain day. And I was just like sitting there like, no, babe, no, I've never been known to freak out about how long to wait. Oh, it's quite terrifying. So anyway, enough babbling for tonight. Your question for tomorrow's episode. Do I do the accent for Tom? No. When I read the chapters for Tom, Fiona's not even Welsh. I get to read it without any kind of personal humiliation. Right, your question for the next chapter. Choose one of these for the next chapter. 1, a boat. 2, a train. 3, a picnic. Or 4, a horse. Those are your options. Bum, bum, bum. Choose one of these for the next chapter. 1, a boat. 2, a train. 3, a picnic. 4, a horse. Those are your options. If you can get it done tonight, that's great. It's been really good having overnight to think about it. Don't forget to like the video, all that nonsense. And It's Thursday tomorrow, isn't it? Yeah. We'll be back for then. So those are your choices for tomorrow's chapter. Um, that's it. That was the last thing I needed to do today. No, it's not. I've still got yeah. Right. Okay. Well, you don't care about my life admin. You see the difference, don't you, from when I was tired yesterday to back in a proper mood today? Right. I'm going. Bye, everyone. Have nice days and evenings and everything. And I'll see you again tomorrow. Take care of yourselves. Bye.